I just found this abandoned, overgrown fish pond in my new backyard. And I'm guessing most of the fish that were living in here are probably dead because it's just gotten so overgrown. But I do see some fish right here. And I'll tell you one thing, guys, if there's baby fish living inside of this pond, that means that there could be living predators as well. I'm talking giant snapping turtles, huge man-eating alligators, and guys, so much more. The sky is literally the limit inside of this pond. But guys, before we start digging out this entire pond and actually discovering all the giant predators that are potentially living in here, I want to take you guys back to a couple days ago whenever we actually discovered and actually bought this property. You see, it all started a couple days ago whenever I actually had the opportunity to buy my very own dream home. The house was gorgeous, the property was huge, but there was just one thing that was missing: a giant pond for all of my crazy monster fish. But I did notice on the listing that I saw that there was a giant pond that was in the back, but it looked like it was just overgrown and run down, practically abandoned. And well, guys, that's why we're bringing in the big guns today, to help us actually clear this entire pond out. But guys, more importantly, it's all gonna follow a 3-step plan that I actually have. And that would be starting with the first thing that we need to do. And that would be ripping out of these overgrown big old giant plants. But guys, we're not gonna do it by hand. We're gonna do it with this giant bobcat, guys. It has a giant arm and it's gonna reach way out into the pond. And well, it's gonna rip out all of the giant vegetation that's actually filling this entire pond. So we started up the excavator and we started ripping out all of the plants that were inside of this pond. And only after a couple of minutes, we already have this giant pile of fill. Guys, in only a couple of hours, I think this entire pond is gonna have no more weeds in it. And it could be ready for fish. So they kept using the machine to dig out the pond, and the giant piles, well, they just kept getting higher and higher. And guys, look at the pond, it's already getting cleared out. This is amazing. But guys, so far we've been digging out this entire pond, and I think we just saw our first predator. And now guys, I have this big old net. I'm gonna throw my glasses on and I wanna see if I can see this thing and maybe catch it to save it out of the pond so it doesn't get hit by a giant excavator. So I snuck up to where I saw the pond monster and jumped on him with the net. Oh, let's go. Look at this. Oh yeah. So this is one of the predators that we were talking about. That right there is a giant snapping turtle. And if you guys aren't careful, oh my goodness, they will come up and attack you. Now, guys, this is a giant snapping turtle. And I definitely do not support deforestation, and I definitely don't support taking away natural homes like wildlife, just like this pond right here. So what we're gonna do is we have to make a pond for this epic little thing so that when we're done with this project, we can put her back in her home where she belongs. And remember, Rawwfam, fam, if this giant monster's inside the pond, I wonder what else crazy animals we're gonna see inside of here. Look at this. So this is a giant common snapping turtle, and this guy was living in the pond. Yep. Did you see anything else living in the pond?
I haven't seen other than one eel.
An eel?
An eel. Florida native freshwater eel.
So guys, now we know that there's an eel in here, and we definitely know that there's an aggressive female snapping turtle in here. All right, keep doing your thing. Thank you. Alrighty guys, let's go make a home for this thing. So we went in the back of the barn and we grabbed this giant tank and we threw our turtle inside. And we walked it all the way back over to the house, while the giant excavator kept digging out the huge pond. Alrighty guys, and we just got over to the house. We're gonna take this beautiful big old snapping turtle. We're gonna just put it right here. And now we're gonna fill this tank up with water while we clean out the back pond and do this entire project. So then we'll put him back whenever it's safe for him to go back in the pond. So we grabbed the hose and started filling the tank up with fish-friendly water. And now that this predator is safe and sound inside of this tank to where it will actually be able to live in here for a couple days, no problem. Let's get back over to the abandoned pond and see how close we are to actually finishing and completing phase 1 of our amazing plan for the pond. Come on, let's go check it out. So the construction worker ran the machine all day and got this entire pond cleaned out and made it look perfect. But if we're gonna find out what's living inside of this pond, we're gonna have to drain out all of the water. But guys, before we can do that, we're gonna need to like set up like a temporary pond or something so that the fish are safe, because there's gonna be no water. We gotta put them somewhere, you know? And guys, I just bought a house. I'm flat broke. So a fair price is like $10,000 to make this my dream pond. And that's why we jumped in the truck and headed over to Walmart to get this temporary pool. And that's why we're over here inside of the pool section. And we're actually gonna be buying like a big giant pool right here. It's on clearance, so it's a good deal. We're only spending $400, guys. It's a lot of money, but this right here is, we're gonna convert it into a fish aquarium for today's video. So throw it in the cart and go buy it. So we threw the pool pond inside of the cart and we actually bought it. And now we could actually start this build. And the best part is that we still have $9,500 to blow to make this build one of one. So let's make this build look easy. Whoa, look at that. The pool's set up, come on. This right here is an above ground swimming pool, guys. This thing is actually 16 foot long. I mean, it's massive. And guys, believe it or not, very soon, we're actually gonna have a bunch of fish swimming around inside of this pool, living in there. But before we set the pond up, we need to start draining the abandoned pond. All right, guys, so the giant pump just got here. We are putting this inside of the water right here to start draining the pond. You guys, look at this. This right here is a giant pump that we are actually going to hook up, turn on. It's gonna be super loud, and it's actually gonna start draining the entire pond down to nothing. And within the next 24 hours, this entire pond behind us is gonna have no water. And we're gonna see what the heck is actually living inside of this giant abandoned pond. And with the giant pump in place, now it was time to start sucking out all of the water from this pond. And guys, now that I'm actually looking into it, filter systems for giant ponds are way too much money, Raw fam. Thousands and thousands of dollars. So guys, here's what I say we do. I say I get on Facebook Marketplace, buy a couple things, and we could build it DIY style for way cheaper, like 1/10 the price. So let's do that. So I hopped on Facebook Marketplace and I bought these giant water troughs. And now it's time to set them up. And to do that, we obviously have this giant water tote that we're gonna turn into a filter system for our aquarium. And the next thing we gotta do is cut them open and turn these things into filter systems. So guys, we're gonna grab this giant saw right here and we're gonna outline this entire thing just like this to cut it open. And using the giant sawzall, we actually cut out a giant hole inside of the water tote. All right guys, and now we can get rid of this. Oh. We obviously got to clean these out, and this is going to be a DIY custom filter system for our above ground pool that we're converting. But guys, in order to do that, we got to do it right on the scene all the way over at that pool aquarium. So let's load it in the truck and take it over there. So we grabbed not only one but two giant water totes, and we actually brought them all the way over to the pond. All right guys, so we got our giant filter systems. We just got to turn this plastic bin into a filter system, and that's why we're going to be buying a bunch of this gravel right here so that we could actually put it inside of our filter system. Guys, believe it or not, this is gonna house bacteria, and that bacteria is gonna eat all the fish poop. But guys, we just gotta get the rocks. So we bought the gravel, and then they brought over a giant excavator and actually loaded the gravel into the back of our trailer. And now that we had our gravel, it was finally time to set up our filter system. So we added our bulkhead and connected the PVC, and then we actually filled it with rocks. All right guys, so we just plugged it in right here. We got the pumps running, everything going, and soon you'll look right here and all the water is gonna start coming up through the rocks and it'll start pouring into the pond, Raw fam. Guys, this is amazing, but guys, we need to get this pond going to get that bacteria growing and get this thing cycled before we have to scoop out all of the fish from the pond. So as we started to fill up the pond, it was finally time to see if all of our hard work would actually pay off. All right guys, we got our first glimpse of water right here. It is so dirty, guys. I mean, you can just see it's like clay. So we're gonna have to get this water nice and clean just by running it and doing some water changes, because soon guys, we're gonna have some giant fish actually swimming in this pond. So we drained the pond and actually filled it back up to make sure that all of the nasty water was no longer in the pond. We carefully planted all of our plants inside, and these plants would make sure that our water stayed in perfect condition. And the finishing touches for this pond would be a massive overhang that would actually keep a bunch of shade on the pond and make sure that the fish and water wouldn't overheat. All right guys, and now the giant tarp is up. It's protecting the pond from too much heat, honestly. And now guys, we're actually gonna be able to go inside of this pond and start scooping out all of the giant fish that obviously live in there. That's it right there.
Oh, that thing's massive.
Oh crap, well, you were videoing that?
Yeah, bro.
Oh, let's go. Guys, we're walking over to the giant excavator. That's gonna be excavating the entire pond. That is a massive, massive excavator. And guys, believe it or not, over the next 24 hours, we're gonna be draining the pond, digging the pond out. And then guys, we're gonna use this, turn the abandoned pond into my dream pond. Oh my goodness, dude. This isn't real life. This thing is huge. Guys, this is a couple $100,000 machine. And guys, to get this thing on my property, it's easier said than done. We're gonna have to cut a huge hole in the fence. Whoa! All right, we're getting somewhere now. All right guys, this right here is a John Deere 350 and it weighs 80,000 pounds. Now we're gonna actually take it off of the trailer. We're gonna start walking all the way down to the backyard. So we unloaded the 80,000 1,000-pound excavator and slowly guided it all the way over to the abandoned pond, bringing us one step closer to upgrading our abandoned pond. And after a few hours of waiting, the pond drained inch by inch and slowly started revealing what was actually hidden inside. Alrighty guys, so now the water is finally low enough to where we can go inside of the pond and scoop all of the fish out. But as you guys can see, the fish are going literally everywhere. I think everywhere we look is monster fish, so we gotta start scooping them out quickly. Look, there's one right here. I can see it already. Look right there. Big one right there. Oh, yeah. Let's see the first fish we got. Oh, look at that. Giant largemouth bass. Look at that, guys. That's a freaking beast, dude. Oh my gosh. Guys, this is just the first of many that we're putting inside of this pond. Look at this, guys. Put them in just like that. And now we're gonna run these guys all the way over to the pond. And the plan was simple. I would catch the fish out and I would actually hand it over to someone so that they could run the fish over to the pool pond. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Open that. Woo! Giant big koi fish, dude. Look at that one. Just like that. We're gonna roll them up. Nice. And just like that, guys, we are stocking this pond with all the pond monsters that are living inside of that giant abandoned pond, guys. Ready, guys? Rip salt. Guys, I just got a massive rip salt catfish. I mean, just a freaking monster. Now, these guys have giant spines all up and down their body, like razor blades, and they will cut you. Look at this, guys. Giant rip salt catfish right there. Whoop. Let's go. Got a big pacu right here. Oh yeah, look at that. Go for it. Nice, good money.
Straight to the big pond.
All right, guys, we just got some giant fish over here by Austin. Look at that, dude. That is lit. Good job, Austin. Giant bass right here. Look at that. Oh, big one. Nice. We're breeding monsters over here. So as we kept scooping, those weren't the only monsters we would find. There was still a massive albino pacu. And there was an even bigger hybrid catfish. Look at this, guys. Got a giant big old hybrid catfish. Just got him out of the pond. He's going in. Let's go, that's a great fish. He's alive, he's kicking. It's awesome. And then we caught this mudfish and this massive redtail that we actually put inside the pond. Guys, look at this. The entire pond is now mud. And guys, from this layer right here, we're gonna then continue to dig down like 20 feet. So we can make this a giant pond for all of my giant monsters. If you guys like this stuff, this is a great time to subscribe. I will see you guys tomorrow to keep digging this pond. So the excavator kept on digging into the night so that we can get out as much of this nasty mud as possible, because that mud would be the only thing sitting in the way of us actually digging out the pond. All right, guys, and now we're getting to the point where we need to start ripping through all the limestone that is at the bottom of this pond. Getting those big grabbers, crushing through that rock right now. This will be 20 foot deep and this will be a pond. And all through day 2, the excavator chipped away at the limestone at the bottom of the pond and slowly but surely started making a bigger and bigger hole. Look at this, guys. This is awesome. Guys, we have been digging this thing out. This is so freaking cool. That's like 20 foot deep right there already. The water is pretty mucky, but it's gonna get clear as the day goes on. And in day 3, you could really see how deep the pond was getting. The entire excavator arm was extending all the way into the pond, scooping out as much dirt as possible. All right, guys, it is like day 4 of digging. I just got a phone call that the pond is really starting to come together. This is gonna be like my first time really seeing the pond. Come on, let's go walk over here. This is really exciting for me. Oh my goodness. Dude! This is incredible. As far as the pond goes, this is everything I've ever wanted, guys. This is my dream pond. It's gonna be like 150 to 200,000 gallons of water. This is all gonna be underwater right here. The water table goes up to like right here. So look, this is where the water line is. They are almost done. They just have a little bit more digging right there. And then, guys, this project will be a wrap. Almost 5 days of digging with this giant excavator. We still have a little bit more digging to do, so let's get to that to finally clear out this entire pond. So with the 4th and final day of digging approaching, the excavator started chipping away at the final piece of rocks at the bottom of the pond, leaving us with the most perfect area to actually grow our giant monster fish in. And it looked to me that the giant new pond was actually almost done. All right, guys, it's looking good. It looks like we are almost done. digging. Not too much more time now. The pond will be ready to drain, and then hopefully soon we'll be able to throw some fish in it. Oh my goodness, dude. We got some giant bass. We got koi fish. Look at the giant red-tailed catfish and the hybrid. Everything's alive. They're thriving and they are happy, Raw fam. And guys, I'm also happy because guys, now the pond is officially done. Let's go check it out. Come on. Oh my gosh, Raw fam. Look at this. Guys, that is our brand new dream pond, Raw fam. Because I know this because literally last night when we got done excavating it, me and the boys literally jumped in the pond and we were swimming and we had a great time. If you come over here, I gotta show you guys something. We've continued to run this pump right here to literally barely any water, Raw fam. And now the water is trying as hard as it can to fill the entire pond up. And guys, I only know this because of that right there. Come here. Oh my gosh. It's like a river of water coming from the ground. There's nothing there. And it's just, it's flowing out naturally. And guys, we've been draining it because if you look in the water here it's kind of green. It's kind of yucky. So that's why we're gonna continue to turn the pump on. We're gonna get as much water as we can until about a couple hours from now when my rental is gone, so that when it fills back up, it'll be nice and clear. But guys, before we grab all of the fish and put them in, we gotta stock the pond. Guys, I'm thinking about 8 dozen nice shiners. And when we get those, we could also feed all the giant bass because I know they're hungry too. So let's turn the pump on. So I started up the pump and it was pushing out the water perfectly. Oh my gosh, you see all that water? And guys, over the next couple of hours, we're gonna continue to drain the pond so that when it fills up, it'll be clean, awesome water for my fish. So Raw fam, while all the pumps are actually running, I say we get out of here, we go buy some shiners. More importantly, we will get some native fish so that we can stock the pond before we put all of the giant pond monsters back in their brand new home. So we ran over to our local bait store and we got a bunch of shiners to actually stock the pond with. And they're actually all inside of here. We got a giant cooler to not only feed all the monsters in the pool pond, but more importantly to stock the pond. Oh yeah! Look at that, dude. So this is probably like 5 or 6 dozen shiners. They're gonna go amazing inside of this pond. And guys, because I'm trying to keep all of these shiners alive, I'm coming down here. We're gonna get a bucket of water right here and we're gonna start acclimating all the shiners to their new water temperature. And then I gotta scoop a couple out so that we can feed the predator pond right now. Big handful. Woo, you see that, dude? No, dude, this is gonna be so cool. One more little handful, just some big ones. And after letting the shiners acclimate for about 5 minutes, they're ready to go in the pond. So I'm bringing this cooler down here. Now we're just gonna pour them all in. You ready? Come on, shiners. Woo! And believe it or not, guys, just those shiners going in about 5 hours earlier than all the monsters is gonna be the difference between them living in here for another month and dying almost instantly because they get eaten. And guys, look at this. We have this entire bucket filled with some giant big jumbo shiners. I know they're hungry and they're gonna love eating this entire bucket of shiners. So come on, let's go feed them. All right guys, here we go. Now it's time to grab out our first big old shiner right here and it's going inside of the pond. All right, let's see which one's gonna come up and eat. Oh! Oh! Guys, these are wild bass. They are not trained and they're coming up eating out of our hand already. All right, we got 3 shiners this time. See what happens. Come on. Oh my gosh. Oh, right there. Oh my gosh. Come on. Oh! Oh! Come on, right here. Come on. Oh my gosh, they're fighting over it, dude. That is awesome. And guys, now the cherry on top, I'm just gonna toss them all in so that we got all these bass nice and happy before they go in the giant lake behind my house. Are you ready? Oh my gosh. Now Raw fam, guys, those shiners cannot live and thrive inside of this spawn. But Raw fam, that's why I want to go off right now and actually fill up that entire cooler with a bunch of fish that will actually live and thrive here in South Florida. And that would actually be over at the fishing spot. All right, guys, let me show you guys how we're doing this. We have a bobber, then down here we have a little split shot, and then a little hook right there. All right, guys, let's see if we can catch a bluegill. So I fished for a little bit, but I couldn't get a single bite. But all my friends, they were getting plenty of bites. So Frank has a big bass right here. Nice bass for the pond right there. And then look at this. And Austin has a big Oscar right here that we're gonna also put in the pond. Oh yeah, here we go, guys. Big fish. All right, here we go, guys. Big bass right there. You can throw it in. Nice, let's go. All right, guys, so we got a couple nice fish, but those are not the bluegill we're after. Let me show you the bluegill. Come on. Look, something's on. Oh, I'm on. Look at that. Oh my goodness, look at that. That is the world's smallest bluegill. Now guys, this is called a warmouth, and this is exactly why we're out here, guys. We are gonna try and fill a cooler full of these little bait fish so that we can stock the pond with them. And that's exactly what we did. We caught so many bait fish and then put them all into a cooler. And my buddy even caught these giant mudfish, and we threw them in a cooler and we kept them as a pet. All right guys, we've been fishing all day, and inside of this cooler is a bunch of big fish. Oh yeah, look at that. Pond stocking. So guys, now we can take all of this bait and we can put them in the pond, and they'll get in there before we have to put all the giant pond monsters in, so they'll be able to evade all the predators. Oh yeah, look at that, dude. Guys, look at this big old mudfish. These things got some ferocious teeth on them, but this one's going in the pond. All right guys, and now we're gonna fill this entire net up with a bunch of bluegill so that we can finally stock this pond and get ready to actually go off and put all the massive fish in tomorrow morning. So I scooped all of the bait fish out of the cooler into a giant net. Look at this. The whole point of this was we were trying to get giant, big breeder-sized bluegill and red ears and warmouths and sunfish. And look at this. Look at all these things in here. Oh my gosh, these things are gorgeous. Oh yeah, look at this, guys. A bunch of big ones. We even got a couple Oscar in there. And now that is stocked in the pond. So guys, this was absolutely perfect to get this entire pond jump started. So guys, now that we have a bunch of breeder fish inside of the pond, guys, let's cut to tomorrow morning. The biggest part of this entire video, and that would be putting all the monster fish back inside the pond. All right guys, and now that the water is down, we have our giant nets and our waders, and we're gonna be scooping out, oh my, ow.
What was that? They're going crazy, dude.
And we're gonna be putting them inside of the pond. Look at this. We got a big gar, and we're putting them right in there. And this is only step one of getting them to the pond. We're gonna catch like 10, 15 fish, put them inside of the giant water tote. This is only step one of putting them in the pond. All right, a bunch of fish right there. Oh, not
That's
the
too big.
Baku.
That's
Not
too
the Baku. No. Oh yeah. Look at that, guys. We got a giant koi fish and a big bass that time. And just like that, guys, we're gonna continue to scoop out all the fish from the spawn. So we scooped and scooped until we had about 10 fish inside of the water trough. All right, guys, and now we have a bunch of runners and we have a bunch of bags, and we're gonna just start scooping up all the fish and running them to the pond. We're gonna start with this giant bass right here. Oh yeah, come here. Look at that, guys. Nice big old bass, and it's going right inside of here. So we're gonna put it in, add a little bit of water, you can run it to the pond. Ugh, perfect. So we scooped out and moved all of the fish to the new pond, which meant I needed to start catching out more fish from the pool pond. And this time we got some more bass and even some peacocks. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 big largemouth bass, and we even got a peacock bass down there. So I think that's plenty of fish to run them back over to the pond. So let's do that. But right before we could start moving all of the fish to the new pond, chaos sprung out, and we actually realized that a lot of the fish that we had actually put inside of the pond really weren't doing well. And that's when we fired up the giant water pump and actually started recirculating the water throughout the pond. Guys, I wish I had a heartfelt ending for this whole catastrophe of a video, but Raw fam, a lot of the fish are doing a lot better. Fortunately, we did scoop out 10, 15, 20 fish that were originally thrown in the pond that didn't do so hot. So all those fish we saved are inside the pond. They're happy, they're healthy. No fish have died yet, and that's amazing. So Raw fam, this pond is complete. You guys have seen the before and the after of this entire thing. And we plan on building a beach, a dock, and so much more. But you guys are gonna have to watch that in part 2 of today's video. So Raw fam, I love you guys, and I will see you guys in the next awesome video. Peace.